There's nothing really quiet in the world of K-pop, especially when it comes to a big name like Kim Taehyung, a figure not only loved for his deep baritone voice and sweeping stage expressions, but also for his mysterious charm that always triggers question marks. And now, amid the silence of the military world where he was carrying out his country's duties, one hot news again made the skies of the Korean entertainment industry rumble. HYBE and V. The two big names are now back in the center of the storm. A new drama is afoot. This time, however, it was much worse than anyone had ever expected. That it all started with a cryptic post on the official account of the HYBE subsidiary, followed by an action that was considered unusual by fans. ARMY's comments began to flood social media, making the topic instantly enter the ranks of global trending within just 7 minutes after the news spread. What's up with HYBE and V? Why is he always the victim? We are tired, but we will not stand still. The hashtags full of emotions were milling around like bullets, hitting HYBE from all directions. In one side of the screen, looks HYBE remains silent 1,000 languages. But on the other hand, loud voices from fans seem to tear the silence apart. Something's wrong, and everyone knows it. All they don't know is how big the storm is actually preparing to hit. Previously, the relationship between BTS and his agency has been in the spotlight several times. Starting from the promotion of Layover's solo album, which is considered not as much as other members, to the lack of preferential treatment that should be reasonable for a Kim Taehyung, idol with the most sought-after visuals in the world, an actor who once dazzled through Warang, and also a singer who managed to penetrate various international charts. This time, however, the scent of the play was noticeably stronger, thicker, more shook. What exactly happened? Why is Taehyung again dragged into the storm of an unhealthy relationship with HYBE? Is this just a coincidence? Or is there something bigger at play behind the scenes? To be sure, the drama is only just beginning, and apparently, it will not end quietly. That I will continue to write the next section that digs deeper about the chronology of events, speculation from fans, industry analysis, to emotional moments that shake. You want me to move on now to the next part? The day should be ordinary. There are no comeback schedules, no birthday celebrations, not even album leaks that usually provoke a stir. But that calm turned boisterous when one of HYBE's sublabels, without context, removed all Layover-related uploads from their social media accounts. There is no official statement. There is no clarification. Only one thing remains: emptiness. And in that void, suspicion began to grow. ARMY, known as the most detailed and vigilant fandom, didn't take long to spot the gaffe. Why are only posts about Layovers deleted? Wrote a user on platform X, formerly Twitter. Why is there no track at all, when the album was released only last year and was a huge success? Other comments followed. They know, it's not a coincidence. This is a conscious action. And every conscious action keeps a hidden message. In less than 2 hours, the topic "Protect Taehyung" became the #1 trending topic in 15 countries. Compilation videos of the unfair treatment Taehyung received compared to other members began to appear again, reviving old wounds that had not yet fully healed. Fans began to reconstruct the chronology of HYBE's treatment, which they considered unbalanced. They juxtaposed the heavy promotion other members got with the silence of Layover releases, which didn't even get big ad slots, didn't appear on weekly music shows, and didn't have an exclusive showcase series. Going deeper, some fans pointed out how BTS's official social media rarely features Taehyung exclusively. Every time there is a V achievement, the official account is like turning a blind eye, wrote a fan from Brazil. But when the achievement came from someone else, HYBE immediately published it massively. And this is where a controversial conclusion begins to spread. There is a silent boycott going on. Meanwhile, Taehyung's personal accounts on Weverse and Instagram remain silent. No update, no statement. But it's the silence that makes so much noise. As if he wanted to say many things, but knew that anything he said could be used against him. As if he was fighting in silence, defending his pride and his art from the hands of a power too great to fight directly. Industry analysts are starting to speak out. Some have suggested that this could be part of a brand restructuring strategy, but others say something darker, that this is a form of silencing the individual voice in the midst of a corporate structure that puts collectivity first. And when it comes to someone as brave as Kim Taehyung, a figure who doesn't hesitate to express himself through music, fashion, to the visual arts, that silence can feel like a betrayal that I will continue writing the next part, which will dive deeper into ARMY's emotional reactions, how this affects the public's perception of HYBE, and how Taehyung is slowly replying, without a word. Ready to go? ARMY's reaction this time can no longer be underestimated. They are not just fans, but have become an unstoppable force in the global music industry. When they feel something is wrong, the world knows. And this time, they feel that this is more than an injustice. It's an attack on Taehyung as an individual, an artist, and a human being they love. Within hours of the removal of content about the layover, the ARMY began doing what they do best, organizing. Hashtags such as Protect Taehyung, HYBE Unfair, and Justice for Taehyung are widespread. Communities of fans on various social media platforms began to demand an explanation. Some fans started digging deeper, tracking every move HYBE made related to V, and publishing their findings with her hashtags. As if to show that they would not be silent, they even began an online campaign to hold the company accountable. HYBE should be celebrating Taehyung's success, not silencing him, wrote one fan. His videos showing his work, from the personal artwork Taehyung shares on his social media accounts to the rare interactions he has with ARMY, are back in the spotlight. They talk about how Taehyung is a true artist who should be respected, not pushed aside. However, not only ordinary fans spoke out. Some of the biggest influencers in the K-pop world are starting to join the movement, with some former idols from the older generation also giving their opinions on Taehyung's unfair treatment. This is a time for us to support Taehyung, not just because he is an idol, but because he is a human being who deserves respect for his work and feelings, said one former idol who is now a famous YouTuber. The videos of their analysis of the relationship between idol and the agency began to gain millions of views, and support for a growing number of voices began to lead to one conclusion. This is a systematic act that must be stopped. But even though the ARMY is united and moving with unstoppable zeal, the silence from HYBE and Taehyung's side continues to silence their hopes. There was no official statement from the agency, and although many asked for clarification, HYBE still chose not to provide an explanation. This just heats up the debate even more. Many are beginning to think that this is not just a coincidence. This is a message sent by the company to show who has control. And when no one speaks, neither from HYBE nor Taehyung, the matter gets even bigger. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Taehyung chose to remain silent. There is nothing more heartbreaking for his fans than seeing him struggle in silence. The ARMY, who expected an explanation or just a touch of a message from the idol, began to feel neglected. Some began to wonder, was it Taehyung's decision not to reveal anything, or was he deliberately prevented from speaking? Is he being forced to swallow everything in order to maintain the image of the group and its agency? With all the stored emotions, fans began to feel marginalized, as if their voices were no longer heard. But in the midst of this chaos,